Hello, my name is Abracadabra. And before I start the show, I just want to get to know my audience a little. So, have you seen some interesting speeches so far? Is that judge's room stocked with some pretty good food? Are you having fun judging? Now I know you're tricking me. Speaking of tricks, let's get started. My topic today is geek magic. Geek magic began with Geek magic is defined as entertaining an audience by giving them the impression that something impossible has been achieved. Have you ever wanted to saw a lovely assistant in two and put her back together magically without violating a single federal regulation? Take one or two regulations. Have you ever wanted to pull a bunny out of the top hat? Or vice versa. Have you ever wondered what it took to be a real geek magician? In this speech, I'll be going over the rules of the geek magic trade, the history of the trade, the tricks of the trade, and the etymology, or what you might call the vocabulary of the trade. Geek magic is what you might call a prestidigitation. Now, since prestidigitation is such a mouthful, we just refer to it as sleight of hand. Prestidigitation comes from the French word prest, which means to be nimble or quick, and the French word doigt, which means fingers. So essentially, a prestidigitation is being nimble or quick with your fingers. Now, like I said, since prestidigitation is such a fun word, we just refer to it as sleight of hand. Now notice I said sleight and not slight. Yes, they're two very different words with the same pronunciation. Whereas one of them means to be nimble or quick, the other means to be flimsy or fragile. And of course, you don't want flimsy and fragile fingers while you're performing a magic trick. To give you an example of a prestidigitation, let's look at the square circle. This right here is what you call a square circle. You may be wondering, why is it called a square circle? Well, because it's a square, as you can see there's nothing in it, and it's a circle. Again, as you can see, there's nothing in it. Now, apart from each other, a square and a circle are meaningless. But when the two unite, all kinds of magical things occur. Thank you. Thank you. You're really kind. Please stop. Now, I have in my possession a book that's been passed down from generation to generation of geek magicians. Of course, I can leave it lying around, so I placed it in my magic trunk. Geek magic began with a man named Jacob Philadelphia. Jacob Philadelphia performed magic tricks from 1765 to 1781 throughout Europe and Russia. Now, at the time, he couldn't say that he was performing magic tricks, or else he might be accused of heresy. So he actually performed magic tricks under the guise of scientific exhibitions. The first modern magician was a man named Robert Houdin. Robert Houdin performed magic tricks from 1840 to 1871. Now, Robert Houdin actually started out as a clockmaker, and then he got the idea to take ordinary household objects and to put machinery in them to make them look as though they're moving by magic. And then he and a friend bought an old building and renovated it, turning it into a magic theater, and the rest was, as they say, history. And then our celebrity magician is Harry Houdini. Now, surprisingly, Harry Houdini didn't actually start performing this special breed of geek magic known as escapology until the age of 40. But sadly, he only had a short 10-year run because he died at the age of 50 after an abdominal wound. Another prestidigitation involves dissection. Now, there are many magicians out there with those huge sarcophaguses and the lovely assistants that they slice in two and put back together. Well, that may be a bit too complicated for an expository speech. Plus, my HMO part wouldn't cover it anyway. So we're going to have to improvise a little. Now, I still have my sarcophagus, and I still have my lovely assistant. We'll just call her Miss Green. Now, there are three parts to every magic trick. First is the pledge. That is when you take an ordinary something, such as a pencil. Number 2 to be exact. Then comes the turn. And that is when you make that ordinary something do something extraordinary. but simply slicing a pencil in 3 parts isn't enough. It doesn't leave the audience with the amazement that they came for. That is why the turn must once again transform itself into the pledge. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called the prestige. And as you can see, Miss Green is back in one piece. Oh, thank you. Come on, the trip wasn't that good. What am I saying? It was wonderful. You may be wondering what exactly it takes to be a geek magician. I'll tell you when we discuss the rules of the trade. But before I can go any further, I must swear you all into magician's oath. As a magician, I promise never to reveal the secrets of any illusion to a non-magician without first swearing them into the magician's oath. I promise never to perform any illusion for a non-magician without first practicing the effect until I can perform it well enough to maintain the illusion of magic. There, you're all now geek magicians, and I may reveal to you all of my secrets. Now, as magicians, we are sworn to secrecy, so I cleverly disguise these secrets along with something that nobody's ever going to look at. The first rule of geek magicians is 1. Never reveal your secrets. The reason why you don't want to do this is, well, your audience will be less impressed with your show. Plus, they're magicians that do this for a living. And if everybody knew the secrets to every trick, then they'd be less inclined to pay for a show. The second rule of geek magicians is to practice a trick at least 7 times before performing it for an audience. Why? Well, because practice makes perfect, and 7's the magic number. Kind of funny because I'm the 7th speaker in room 7. The third rule of geek magicians is to never repeat a trick for the same audience. And the reason why you don't want to do this is because the first time you perform your trick, your audience will be amazed. But the second time, the amazement will be gone, and they'll be watching so closely that they may figure out how you perform that trick. Another prestidigitation has to do with cards and guns. Yes, we're in Texas. Alright, so I'm going to go through this deck randomly, and I'm going to stop at any random place. It doesn't matter where I stop because it's all random. For instance, I could stop right now, or about now. What do you think? Do you think we should stop now? I don't think so. I'm going to keep going. Alright, I think this is good right here. Alright, so this is the judge's card. Does everybody see the judge's card? It looks as though everybody's seen the judge's card. So we'll place it back in the deck. Then I'll take my magic wand, abracadabra. There we go. I got the card. I guess you could say I'm an ace shooter. Don't mess with Texas. Survey said. Thank you. Thank you. Stay cool, my babies. We have more. Before I perform my final trick, let's go over a quick recap of what all we've learned. We know how geek magic started. It went from a man named Jacob Philadelphia, to Robert Houdin, to Harry Houdini, to me, and now to you 3. The world's 3 newest geek magicians. We also know what it takes to be a geek magician. We know above all to never reveal our secrets. We know secondly to practice a trick at least 7 times before performing it for an audience. And we know thirdly to never repeat a trick for the same audience. And now, for my final trick, it will involve a crystal glass and jewels. What type of jewels, you ask? Diamonds, rubies, emeralds, amethysts. The most expensive we could find at Walmart. Then we'll take the cloth, bare on all sides. Then we'll bring up the 4 corners. And the jewels come into play. Abracadabra. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful audience.